Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 6 of the Stage Ready podcast. Today we are joined by Jeremy Potvin and his fiancee Courtney. I am really looking forward to this episode, and I know Sam is as well. But I'm just going to give you one more reminder to hit that subscribe button so you can really help this channel out. But Sam, I know last week you announced that you will be coming back to the stage. How's training going and how's everything going so far?
So far going good. I've only announced it here on the show, but yes, I talked to my coach and it's in the works. We're deciding if it's going to be possibly the end of this year or next year. Still kind of throwing out some ideas, but yeah, everything's going good.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see you back on stage. I know I'm ready. Sam, you ready?
I am. Now let's get into this week's episode.
All right, we are back with episode 6 of the Stage Ready podcast, and Jeremy and Courtney, welcome to the show. I wanted to say thank you so much for doing this. I've been looking forward to this episode for quite a while now, and I just want to say thank you once again for being here.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, thank you for having us.
I'm
excited.
And I also want to give a big thank you for serving your time in the military. That's just absolutely awesome that you decided to do that, and that's another thank you to you.
Oh, my pleasure. I've always been the kind of person where always wanted to serve my country or serve my community in some sort of way, and military is kind of the best way to go about it. So,
yeah. Now, before we get into the origin that I usually do, I wanted to talk about your Instagram, and you have 1.2 million followers, and I think that's just absolutely crazy. Just being up there with around like Chris Bumstead and Jocko Willing when they have like that 2 million, like how does it feel having this many people like behind you and following you?
It's definitely pretty surreal to think that, that many people kind of are interested or look to you for some sort of motivation or something. But I don't really get too caught up in that follower count so much anymore, to me, as long as I can kind of do what I enjoy doing and people want to pay attention or enjoy what I'm putting out, then, I kind of feel like accomplished through that, I guess you could say. But I mean, it is surreal when you look at that number and you realize, that's 1 million plus people
a lot of people
that are paying attention to what you do or how you live your life, I guess you could say. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, is Instagram anything like YouTube? Because I know with YouTube, if you get to that million, they send you a plaque. Was Instagram anything like that, or did they just like give you a pat on the back since they
get
like,
nothing?
Yeah, you didn't even get an email.
Yeah, you get nothing. You just kind of hit that mark and go about your day.
Woo, and that's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I did want to pull up this picture just because I'm such a huge fan of transformations, and it relates a lot to my story because last year I was just about 100 pounds, or about a year and a half ago now. I just was around that 100-pound mark, and now I just hit 150 the other day, and I just love the whole changes. I got out of eating disorder. And I just love seeing the whole transformation. So do you mind telling us a little bit about this picture right here?
Well, I mean, to start off with, I graduated high school. I was 116 pounds. I was super skinny, at 5'5", 5'6", somewhere around there. And I never really thought I could ever put on muscle like that. I was never even thought in my mind. I was a little skater kid and played soccer. But I joined the military, and when I was deployed, started working out as a way to relieve stress and kind of take my mind off of everything that was going on. And that's when I started seeing changes. And surprisingly, I never thought I could grow. And by the time I got back from Iraq, I was about 150 pounds. So still not big by any means at all, but I mean, carried the muscle very well. And I mean, that's basically what you're seeing is just going from 116-pound kid to 150-pound to 180-pound guy that enjoys working out.
Yeah.
Just once you see those changes start, you kind of get addicted to it.
Yeah, definitely. I can agree with that. But when I talked with Ron Partlow, he said that when he started high school, he was 130.
Yeah.
And this was like when he was trying to become the bodybuilder and get his pro card. So throughout the 4 years of high school, he put on 100 pounds. So he came out of high school at 2:30.
That is
And
crazy.
I thought that was just insane.
Yeah. I mean, I wish, like I said, throughout high school, I never even thought that I could put on muscle or get big or anything like that. So that was the furthest thought of my mind. So it's pretty awesome when you see what somebody can do when they actually try to work towards something.
Yeah. When I talk with all these people, and especially you, it gives me like a huge motivation and a huge drive to just even work harder and harder, because I can see that whole end game, and I know that it's possible if you just put in enough work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And about a year ago, not a year ago, because a year ago it's 100 pounds, and then 2 years before that I was 13 and I was 84 pounds, and that's when I set the American record for the powerlifting, and that's when I deadlifted 225. So almost 3 times my body weight. Yeah. And then I just hated being the skinny kid at school all the time and just being called a skeleton everywhere. And so I was like, you know what, it's time for a change. And then I had to just keep eating when I didn't like it and just keep shoving it down. Like there were times where I would just like throw up because I hated the food thing, but I knew I just had to keep doing it. Just in order to get bigger.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's really the only way you're going to get bigger, is eating and doing the right things. Because, a lot of people, and I'm not sure if we're allowed to say any of this or talk about it, but a lot of people attribute a lot of progress to PEDs. And, I feel like that's pretty far down on the list compared to ethic, genetics, and food.
Yeah.
So, I just,
people really underestimate the power of like
food.
Caloric intake and nutrients. They really do.
Yeah. But I did want to know, how did the two of you meet?
Social media. We met on Instagram. Yeah. We met on Instagram.
A mix of Instagram and Snapchat.
Yeah. So, just kind of saw her on my page, and I went and looked at her page and liked each other's pictures back and forth every now and then slowly.
You know how it goes.
Yeah.
The picture tag.
So that was probably like
4 years
and a half, 5 years ago almost when it started, and now we've been officially together for almost 4 years, and we'll be getting married in 2 weeks.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
Congratulations!
Thank you. It's crazy how the time flies. And like thinking about all that stuff seems like it was so far away.
Yeah. Now, Courtney, what was your like initial thought when you first saw Jeremy in person for the first time compared to online?
I thought like, wow, he really is as big as he looks. Because like on Instagram, I think most people can kind of make themselves look how they want to look. Like they know their angles, they know how to make themselves look good. So yeah, I mean, my first impression was like, wow, he's a big guy for sure, but he was always just the nicest, like gentleman type of person. So that was one thing I really, really liked.
Yeah. And what was your reaction when you saw how small his waist was? Or is?
You know what? It used to be so offensive to me. When we first started dating, there would be people who were like, yo, who has a smaller waist? You or Jeremy? I'm like, y'all, that's a little rude. Don't push me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, it's unreal because you can tell people like we can tell you now, okay, his shoulders are about double his waist when he's like in competition prep. But until you see it, it's like, it's just insane. Like I've never seen anyone that looks like him. And I've seen at this point all the pros, and we've walked around them and been around them. So it just is. He never ceases to amaze. Yeah, he doesn't look like anyone else that I've ever seen.
Yeah. And now since you have that such crazy like shoulder to waist ratio, like have you ever like thought of like going to like classic or something like that, or just are you always like focused in men's physique?
My whole thing with bodybuilding is it's always about progression. And I feel like honestly, if I stay in men's physique, I'm holding myself back and I'm not really working towards or improving that much anymore. So, I definitely am working towards moving out of men's physique.
Yeah. Now, before we continue, my co-host finally arrived.
Hey guys,
Hey.
what is up?
How's it going, Sam?
Going good. Totally spaced that.
No, you're fine. No worries.
I'm just like, why are they telling me slowpoke? I don't understand. I'm like writing stuff for my clients, and then I'm like, oh yeah, California. Where are you guys again?
We're in South Carolina, so we're on the East Coast.
Got it. So you're same as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. I literally didn't have any eyebrows on. Okay, so I was like, I gotta do something real fast.
Hold on.
Oh man.
Sam, you got to start pulling it together.
Oh.
Boy, yes, I do. I agree. I've got a lot I'm doing.
Yeah.
Definitely agree.
But so far, we've talked about like Jeremy's transformation and how Courtney and Jeremy met, and then just partially about Jeremy's time in the military.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you bring up that picture that I showed you of his transformation?
Yep. What
was it? I want to ask personally. I know I hopped on late, but what was the year difference?
I want to say that was probably about 10 years.
10 years.
Because I want to say that was 2007 to 2016. So 9 years.
Okay.
In there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I was just telling him I went from like 116 pounds.
He looks like he ate the old him.
So, yeah.
Basically.
I went from like that skinny kid in high school that would be like, oh, okay, well, there's that skinny skater kid. So like now the kid that everybody in high school is like, hey man, can you help me figure out how to work out? But like all the guys that were in football and everything like that, they're now I'm probably bigger than all of them.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, ever since I started doing these interviews, like I'll be at school and then people will be like asking me to go to their home gym all the time. Like, hey, you want to come lift with me? I got a squat rack. And I'll be like, I have a gym that has like every piece of equipment imaginable. So yeah, maybe some other time.
I'm good.
I'm good. Thank you.
But
yeah.
So I do have a question for you. How do you feel about do you feel like men's physique gets a lot of negativity and kind of hate for being like, how the different levels, like, how bikini and then women's physique, figure and all that. Do you feel like men's physique gets a lot of heat?
Oh, absolutely. It's, and I'm not trying to talk down on it, but it's extremely inconsistent. It seems like they have a set standard, but the set standard never really gets followed through with.
True.
So it's just kind of hard to say, like, okay, well, what do they want? How do I know that I'll do well this show or not well this next show? Like, it's just kind of, it's hard to.
Makes it hard to prep for.
It really does.
Yeah.
Like, what do I work on? What are they going to like? What aren't they going to like?
Yeah. Just you don't know who you're competing against. So you don't know if you need to be fuller or if you need to be less full. It's just kind of one of those things you just kind of have to show up and hope your look is what they want.
Well, and that's like a common question that people ask is like, what are the judges looking for? And like you just said, it just kind of depends who shows up because you don't know if there's going to be the skinnier look or there's going to be that really full upper body look. It just depends kind of who's there and how many people have that similar look.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think for the most part, and I kind of do hope a lot of the judges see this, but I think they all need to kind of have a sit down and look at a lot of the top competitors or look at the Olympia lineups and be like, all right, this is kind of the look we want. Everybody needs to follow and adhere to these standards. And I don't know if that's happened or not. So
I feel like they do that once in a while. And then it starts here and then just goes
do whatever. Yeah.
I think
every division.
Each region kind of has their judge where they kind of like their own look. And yeah.
When we talked with Matt Grego and Chiron Holden, they like had no idea what the judges are looking for because it's just so different.
It is.
You can't because they can be consistent over 3 shows and then that 4th one totally different.
That's true.
One after that totally different from the last 2. And then it's like, okay, well, now we don't know what to expect by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like you obsess over what you think the judges are going to expect? No?
Well, that is one thing I've never done.
Okay.
I've never been caught up or focused on what the judges want. I've always just been focused on building what I want to look like, and focusing on that. And that's why, like, when I did this last Olympia, I was like, hey, if I get third call out, so be it. You know, I'm not too stressed. If I place last, I'm not too stressed. Like, I'm going to keep focusing on building what I want. If the judges don't like it, then it just means it's not the division for me.
Yeah, he's consistently been that way through every single show he's done the last few years. Like, he doesn't really even waste time on that. He's like, I'm going to work on what I think my weaknesses are and bring my best package. And
I like that. You can enjoy it more, I feel like, if you do it that way.
You absolutely can, because, you know, when you start focusing on what the judges want, and I don't want to say like I'm, you know, a competitor. Like, I do hold myself to a standard, and obviously I do want to win, but it's not everything to me, you know, and that's where a lot of people might see it as a downfall.
I think he has a really good mental balance. Like, from an outside perspective of watching someone that does what he does, I think, you know, instead of letting things that don't turn out perfect, or, you know, like, regardless of the surprise, whether it's good or bad, as far as how it turns out, he's always balanced. Like, it's always kind of, I'm going to control what I can, and the things I can't, it's out of my hands anyway.
Because if you, like, take a look at your stats for the Olympia, like, you go from, like, 3rd to 10th to just, like, bouncing all around. And I can see how that just gets really frustrating, because you can't, like, see what the judges are looking for. You don't know what they want. And
and, you know, at that level, it's just, like, kind of nitpicking at the details, you know, and you get to that. All right, well, what do I need to work on? You feel like you kind of, like, max out, and there's like, well, come in a little bit sharper. And then you look at the guy who was, like, first, and I was like, well, I think I might have been sharper than the guy who was first. So, like, what else do I need to work on? Yeah, it's just kind of, you know, either your looks what they want, or your looks not what they want.
Yeah.
Do you think it all has to do with also, like, what is leading up to the show? It's not just solely the Olympia, but it's also what you placed outside of it and leading up to it?
I think that definitely influences it. Like, you know, if you're somebody who's consistently placed well, you're probably going to get looked at a little bit more. Or if you've done a lot of shows, they're going to be like, all right, I remember this person, you know. So I think it's easier to glance or take an extra look at somebody you've seen more consistently, or somebody that you know has done well consistently. So versus somebody like me, I tend to do 1 or 2 shows a year, if that. So
now, going off that, can you tell us what your plan is for competing this year?
Oh, well, I'm
here. Why?
I'm just like, wait a minute.
Hold on.
So I haven't. When does this air?
This would probably be on, like, Monday or Tuesday.
Monday or Tuesday. All right. I haven't announced it yet, but I'm actually stepping away from men's physique, and I'm gonna work on building my physique up and doing a classic show by late spring, summer time.
What?
So
it's
go ahead.
It's something that I think will, like, I feel like it'll bring back some fire. And
I don't have that fire. I really don't. I've lost it over the years. I've just kind of, I felt like I don't really have anything to prove. You know, now the only thing I need to do is kind of just hold myself to the goals that I've set. And, you know, since Classic Physique was announced, I've always been like, this seems like an awesome division. I'd like to do that. And every year it's like, if you keep competing, you're never going to have that time to progress the way you need to. So you realistically just have to step away for a little bit. And
I think you do so awesome in, like, Classic Physique, just because you do have such that snatched waist, and then you have such a full upper body.
Yeah, and like I said, my thing is I'm being very realistic with it. You know, I you know, obviously my legs, I feel like I've made great improvements, but they're not where they need to be. In a year, though, I feel like I can get them to a point where people can see me on stage and then be like, there's potential. Like, I'm not there to go and try to win my first Classic Physique show or anything. My goal is to just get up on stage and have people be like, all right, this is where he belongs. And go from there.
Are you looking forward to getting, like, your own, like, posing routine?
Oh, absolutely.
Every time I'm curious about is move like that, y'all.
Yeah. You know, I hear so many, you know, some songs. I'm like, oh my God, this song would be, like, amazing to pose to. Like, I could picture myself, like, hitting poses to certain, like, beats or, you know, certain aspects of songs. And I'm just like, that'd be fun. So, you know, what's up?
I was going to say, I was talking with my coach, Terrence, the other day, and he started taking up dance classes that he's going to be incorporating into his posing.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
See, like
That's
Terrence
so
is a
smart.
perfect example. You know, I heard this song and I was just like, oh man, like this song needs to be on a routine. I messaged Terrence and I was like,
he was like, anyone does
I was
it,
like,
it's gotta be
if anyone
Terrence.
does it, it's gonna be him because
Oh, wow.
the way he poses, you know, when he puts together his routines, it's beautiful. And I'm like, you got to do it justice. So
Now, go ahead.
Oh,
We'll finish yours.
I was gonna say a little bit off topic, but Terrence one time was going like through memory lane on his story, and he was posting like all these different posing videos he did, and one of them was like a horror video, and it was like glitching and stuff, and he was acting like he was the main character in a horror thing, and then like a song would kick on, and then he would start posing, and
That's so interesting.
yeah, it was like if you want to see it, you have to like go way back though.
yeah, he's got that creative mind for it. You know, he just
Yeah.
just knows. And I think when people really know how to pose, it changes bodybuilding completely. You know, it changes it from just like something like holy shit to like this is very pretty. You know.
Yeah, I think that you really have it in you. I'm really excited to see what you look like up on the classic stage.
Hopefully, I don't embarrass myself too much, but
Oh my gosh, not even.
Behind.
I think, like I said, I think
Thank you.
a year of good work. I think I'll be able to, you know, present something decent.
Yeah.
So.
I do want to ask, because I've been wanting to ask this, Courtney, as being someone who's like his big support system, how was it for you watching him go through all these competitions? Like in the beginning of dating, was it very difficult trying to get used to this whole type of lifestyle? And then seeing him go from each Olympia, like, I just want to know the behind the scenes.
So do you mean like from like the day-to-day, like when he's prepped and like handling that? Or are you talking about like social media? Like how
I didn't think about social media. Is that just like a whole different realm?
I think at the beginning, that was one of the bigger adjustments that I didn't realize would be an adjustment, because like all together, I mean, when we started dating, I felt like it didn't freak me out. The only thing was I went into it knowing like this is someone who gets a lot of attention, right? So, I mean, as far as like adjustments or handling our relationship, like, and seeing him grow, it's been so much fun.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, just so fun. Like, because when we first started dating, I mean, there were things that we talked about doing and wanted to do but couldn't. And like, here we are, and our life is just so different. Like, we have grown just infinitely. There's things about us, the things that we have, the things we're able to do that have just changed. And like, seeing those phases and how he's changed and how he's grown in his career, it's just like, I sit back sometimes and I'm like, wow, like I cannot believe it.
Yeah.
So it's been incredible, really.
She's definitely, you know, seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, I think when I was going through my 2017 Olympia prep, where, you know, I had a big old breakdown, and it was the time she was visiting, because when you're getting ready for this stuff, and you know, I was third at the Olympia before that.
Okay.
And, so a lot of people don't think about the pressure that really goes in, you know, like.
And I was guilty of that.
Yeah. So like, you know, there was one of these times where she was like, what is going on? Because I like I said, I broke down. I was like, you know, it's hard to live up to these expectations that everybody's placing on you. It was, like I said, she's gone through multiple phases of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I didn't realize it. It was something, I don't remember what, like specifically, but I kept bringing something up. Like, it was just like, to me, it seems so simple. I'm like, well, he does this all the time. Like, I think like wanting to go live every night. Like, it was something we were trying to keep up. I don't remember, but I was like, it's so simple. It's so easy. Like, you do this all the time. And, you know, these people are watching you. And he just like, he totally broke down. He was like, I do not understand what it feels like to have all these expectations, and like people hold you up here and you show up right here or better. What will they think of me? What will they feel? And I just had no idea. I didn't think about that perspective. I was like 22 years old. So I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
I was not thinking that way. But until he told that to me, like, it helped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a weight, you know. He wants people to be proud of him and to look up to him, and he wants to represent himself well and balanced. So it's a lot.
Yeah. Do you feel like that weight has been lifted? Because I feel like I don't sense that weight right now.
Yeah, I definitely changed my perspective from
Okay.
that. You know, like I said, to me, before, competing was all about, you know, trying my best to win. And then after the 2018 Olympia, I think my perspective changed to, I'm just going to focus on me and what I'm capable of being in control of, and stop being so focused on winning and just being my best self. So when I started looking at it that way, you know, competing got, you know, more fun, less pressure. Obviously, I still have these expectations for myself. Like, I don't want to lose or lose terribly, but
yeah,
I do. It's not really going to bother me. It's just going to be like, all right, well, on to the next.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like there's a lot of different people when it comes to prep. I feel like there's people where it doesn't really bother them that much, and then there's people like James Holling said that will send their lover away, be like, all right, you have to leave for the next month.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and you know what? I feel like the longer that you're with someone, or maybe even like the further they are in their career, if this is their career, there are moments when I think you start to realize that yourself. Like, you look at them and you're like, okay, if I was in their shoes and I'm at this point, and you know, it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of cardio, he's barely eating, like, maybe we need a minute, maybe he needs a day, you know, just give them their space, because no harm can come from that. But it's like, at least you know, you can understand, or like put yourself in a better situation. So instead of antagonizing, you're kind of like, hey, you know what, like, just you do you focus on it, because we've got 2 weeks left, or there's a week left, like, we're almost through this, and then you're fine.
Yeah,
that's such a good point.
Yeah, when Jeremy's like nearing his peak week and he's like not having like any cheat meals or anything, are you like off in the corner like eating ice cream or anything like that?
No, she's
I do his
amazing.
preps with him.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, all of them. I do the cardio with him. And sometimes I'll even do cardio I want. And then if he has to end up doing extra, I'll actually go and do extra with him. Or if he decides he wants to work out again because he feels like he needs it, then I'll go to the gym with him a second time. I feel like it's easier, especially when the person is living with you and they're around you 24/7. If I absorb that with him, it doesn't seem like such a contrast.
That's true.
And he's not missing out. It's not like I'm going downtown with my girls and he's at the gym.
Yeah.
No, with that said, I wouldn't mind if she did whatever she wanted.
No.
She's just she
Never.
does this because she wants to.
Yeah.
Be considerate.
An amazing support system.
I think it helps him, because if it was me and the person I'm living with is eating like brownies in front of me, I think that's a little like, I mean, I understand like some people actually do that and they can live that way, but me as who I am, that would be frustrating.
Do you guys do like cheat meal date night? So it's like you guys diet like together, and then you're like, oh babe, we get to have like this cheat meal.
1,000%.
So like,
I love that.
Our high days kind of scheduled around each other, so that way we can enjoy them together and stuff like that. Like right now, we're getting ready for the wedding, so you know, she's been on her diet, and I'm still on a fairly structured plan. So we enjoy all our meals together and all that stuff.
Now I know that we've been talking a lot about like prep, but like, what's it like for you, like post show? Like, what's your like go-to meal after?
Pretty much everything.
When the floodgates open.
I always try to keep it in check, but it never happens.
It never happens.
It's
ever.
Within a week, if even that, I'm up 30 pounds.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's like the floodgates open and he's just like, let's go.
Are you more of a sweet or salty type of person?
It's a combination. Because I love my like froyo. I love my cold.
I feel like there was only like one prep where you wanted sweets badly after.
I think that was
every other one. It's like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Usually I want like Chick-fil-A or pizza or something.
Okay.
It's Chick-fil-A because it's always good. It's never a letdown. Yeah, it's consistently good. But yeah, if I do desserts, it's usually like a cold dessert, like anything cookies and cream that's cold or red velvet that's cold, I'm good.
I love it cold.
Now,
You have to try that.
It's really good. I thought it was weird too, but he's on to something.
What?
Cold.
I'll try it.
Cold red velvet cupcake.
Anything cold. I don't know why.
I love the chicken and bacon sandwich from Chick-fil-A.
That's what I do. I do a number one, no pickles, add American cheese, add bacon, and I get 3 of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Now, what are your emotions like after a show? Like, are you totally fine? Because I know when we talked with Melissa Bumstead, she like just crashes. Are you anything like that, or like what? How do you feel after a show?
I mean, like right after getting off stage, it all depends on how it done. Obviously, like this last Olympia, I got off stage. I was very emotional, just because it was probably the hardest prep I'd ever done, and I had these expectations where I was like, all right, well, I'm probably done with men's physique. You know, they're getting away from me and all that, and I got off stage after being in that first call out and staying there and. Not getting moved out or anything. So
he could not believe it. It didn't take till we left the building. Like we said some goodbyes, left the building, went down the escalator, and we're like walking to the car, and then it like hit him.
Yeah.
Like, top 5, it's happening.
He just couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So it's it just kind of depends, because I mean the Olympia before that I had placed 10th, I believe.
Yeah.
That one was. That was a crappy feeling because I made the first call outs and I just kept getting moved out. Like, oh man, this sucks. And I remember, it's me and Logan. Me and Logan both kind of felt the same way. We were just kind of like, this really sucks. So after that, and taking a year off and then coming to this Olympia and ending up in 4th place, that was a very, very accomplished feeling, I guess you could say. Yeah, I mean, usually after a show, she loves it because I'm back to my normal self, happy, eating.
Yeah, like that fourth, 5th day after the show, I'm like, it was all worth it.
Like, we can eat all the sweets. We're good now.
Yeah, and I'm like, and he's so jolly, and he's like back to himself. Like, it's so nice to watch the life like come back into him.
Yeah.
You watch it slowly get drained, and now it's being flooded back.
Yeah.
Yes, literally.
Oh yeah.
You should see, like, we've got tons of friends and their relationships and they compete and stuff, and the girls are always like, I can't deal with this. He's got so much attitude, and I feel like I'm so used to it, or like it just doesn't bother me. Like when when he's irritated or whatever, I'm just like, I know it's not him. I know it's circumstance. So it's like, why get upset? Kind of thing. It's like,
I mean, I'm like everybody else. I'm not pleasant to be around.
No.
Like I'm just miserable and
starving. I mean, he's starving. He's lifting like triple the weight that I would ever lift, and he has to do cardio on top of that. So it's like, I wouldn't be pleasant either. Like,
Oh, go ahead, Will.
There you go.
I was going to say, so there was a question I wanted to ask, like, so we all compete and we know it's like in the beginning, it kind of starts off as a hobby and then it dives into more and you get more into it. But when does that, like for you on your timeline, when did it click that this could like turn into a career more than just like a hobby that you do it on the side, that it could turn into possible, like where you are now?
I think that was after the 2016 Olympia.
Got it.
It was when I first moved out to California in 2015. That's when I met Ryan and all of y'all out there. I was still in school, going to the Personal Training Institute, and my GI Bill was kind of helping me pay my bills. I was able to get a couple small sponsors. But after that 2016 Olympia, that's when I realized that, like, hey, I did well enough, and these sponsors were willing to pay enough to where I could pay my bills. For that, not much more. I didn't have that much more free money, but I could pay my bills and, get a couple meals a week or whatever. So, and that's when it clicked with me. I was just like, all right, like this is turning into something real here. And just kind of kept progressing, each year or so, and a little bit more and a little bit more. And it's definitely been a blessing, but it's there's some downsides to it too. It's
Are you willing to talk about them?
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem sharing because everybody thinks it's just like perfect and everything's gonna be all right, but you got to plan for the future too.
Yeah.
You know, how long are these sponsors gonna last? How long are you gonna be relevant? You know, you have those thoughts constantly in your head. You know, this contract is a year long. What happens after this year? Is it going to keep going? Am I going to get paid less? Am I going to make more? So you never know. It's just a lot of ups and downs unless you're able to land, you know, a big multi-year contract or something along those lines. But another thing with that is social media is always changing. So, you know, the money that people were making back then is not the same that they're making now unless they're doing something on their own. So you really have to focus on building your own brand or, you know, creating another stream of income. So that way, when the sponsors do go away, you have something. So it's you got to be smart with it. And it's hard because, you know, a lot of people think like, all right, well, I'm still relatively young. I'm making this money now. It'll be here for a while. But you just never know. You just never know when it's going to change. And like I said, if you're not smart with money or if you didn't learn a lot of things, you're going to learn the hard way. So it's going to happen. You know, me, I'm one of those people where my parents always told me, you know, work on your credit. But at the same time, I didn't really know what that meant. So, you know, I found out the hard way when I got out of the military. I've been dealing with trying to build my credit ever since then because I put myself in such a crappy spot. So, you know, I got to this point where I was like, all right, well, I'm making all this good money, but my credit still sucks. So, you know, that doesn't matter if you have a lot of money. Is your credit's horrible. You still can't do a lot of things. So there's a lot of things, you know, a lot of ups and downs and a lot of life lessons.
There's like a stability factor that I think no one talks about.
Yeah.
No contracted athlete speaks about like how it all looks very cush, right? Everyone's buying G-Wagons and they're buying their houses and building their houses, but there's no promises. Yeah. I mean, if they get an accident and their leg is removed, you know, it's like they're just
the contract could be.
Yeah, it's like, and you don't know. Maybe it would be, maybe it wouldn't be, but it's a common theme, and it is something that I think a lot of people need to think about more, or just plan better when they're in that space.
At the end of the day, you know, it's these companies are sponsoring you. They still got to run a business, and if you're not paying them the money that they're paying you, then why are they going to keep paying you that? So
that is 100% true.
You know, it's not that super cush life that everybody thinks it is. It's just you gotta be on your toes and you gotta constantly work towards it.
Since we're like on the topic of like pay and money, I just wanted to say like a thing that they're doing at my school now is that they're doing like these money management classes. So you like learn how to like spend your money wisely and learn how to handle and like a checkbook. And I'll be taking that my junior year.
That's amazing right there.
Yes. They don't take notes.
My parents were freaking out because they've never done that before.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I had something like that when I was growing up, you know, because that's really what people need. They need to learn how to manage their money, how to save, you know, what a 401k is, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. Because like I said, when you're a contractor and stuff like that, you don't get those options. So when you're making money, getting paid from somebody else's business and you're not an employee, it's different. You got to learn a lot. And, you know, big thing too, taxes. So you got to think, okay, I'm making all this money. Let me spend it. Make sure you set aside some money so you can pay your taxes.
It's true.
You know, how much that's going to come out to. So there's a lot to it.
Now, with the YouTube channel that you have, isn't that bringing in a tons of money?
No.
You're like, wait a minute.
I'm late in the game. Like I started a YouTube a while ago, and I think I posted like 5 to like 10 videos on there, and it was starting to do okay. And then I stopped, and I never got my password to that, so
that's a lost channel.
Yeah, that was a lost channel.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I just had to create a new one and started working towards that again. But yeah, like I said, my goal is to build something where I don't have to necessarily rely on like I said, social media, I guess you could say. You know, I don't. Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
But yeah, I just kind of want to work on building my own brand and just kind of do it from there.
Yeah.
So you're going to announce it. It's going to be announced in this video.
Yeah.
Does that mean the Olympia you're not doing this year?
Not doing it this year. I was like, I think 9 weeks out from the Tampa or 10 weeks out from Tampa Pro when I made the decision. So I was starting prep and I talked to my coach because, like I said, the last couple of years, I've just kind of, I guess you could say, fallen out of love with the process and training and all of that.
It just wasn't making it happy.
Yeah, it turned more into a job. And, I was kind of restricted in the gym too as to how hard I can push myself.
Yeah.
So I talked to my coach about it, and he was super excited about it. And, behind me 100% because he thought that was the original plan when we started working together. Like I said, when I tell you guys I was not expecting to do all this Olympia, I had already planned.
He was like, we were in the hotel the day before, and he was like, he was getting ready and getting his stuff kind of lined up for the day. And he was like, look, we're going to do this. And then I'm done. Like, this is going to be it. I'm going to show them what I brought, and then we're going to go home. And that's going to be it.
I mean,
he was like accepted. That was the level he was at.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily checked out. It's just like to kind of do something that I was going to be excited about again. And like I said, after talking to my coach about it and him being 100% on board and excited too, it was just kind of like, all right, well, let's just work towards that and call the Physique thing done. Instead, I have nothing to prove to anybody. I don't
think he would have kept bringing like more improved packages every year if he's like internally just not there. Like if you got no passion and it's not making you want to do it, then eventually you're just going to burn out.
That's true.
And there was, like I said, with my physique, I was considered one of the bigger, I guess you could say, men's physique guys, even though I'm a very short guy and not a lot of weight on stage. But the way I carried everything, my proportions made me look a lot bigger.
You're full. You're always full.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, well, I can't really come in bigger. Well, what else do I need to work on? Bigger back. And I really don't know because I don't know the direction men's physique is going in. So
I get that. So it's almost like you get to a point where you're doing the same thing over and over again. You're like, what more can I do at this point?
Yeah.
And it almost makes it boring.
And it's like you don't want to do too much and then make it big. And it's just like.
So I figured, why not get excited about training again and work on progressing and try to make that move up to classic physique.
Does this mean you get to eat more?
I am eating right now, and it is hard.
I know it.
Really?
Like Courtney, I was like, I think I'm gonna have to start blending my meals.
How many calories do you have every day?
I'm not sure, but like right now, like on my high day, I'm doing 300 grams of rice per meal with 6 ounces of protein.
Yeah, can you imagine? I'd be laying on the couch.
It's not insanely high, but for me, because I have no appetite, I've been working on trying to get that back. It's hard. So
I'm
not
like
per meal. How many meals?
Oh, that's 6.
Yeah.
So
it's too much rice. That's so much rice.
So much rice.
So, that's about 3. I want to say like 3 to 4 cups of rice. Per meal. So it adds up.
Terrence has me on the gaining phase just because I want to keep getting bigger, and I'm having just over 3,500 calories every day. And that's really been a lot.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I wanted to know, how tall are you?
5'6".
Do you know what the weight cutoff will be for you?
I want to say somewhere around high 170s to 180. But like I said, right now I'm stepping on stage at 153.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So you have a lot of room.
I have a lot of room to grow. I still have at least 25 pounds to add to my frame.
I can't even imagine what he will look like with 20 pounds on his frame.
Yeah. When that time comes, I feel like we can get you back on and you'll take up the whole camera because you'll just be
I'll be like
I'm trying to move that weight down into my legs. So I don't feel a weak back by any means, but it's definitely those areas where I want to improve alongside it. I don't need a bigger chest. I think everything else up top flows relatively well. And if I can get even a couple of inches into my legs, I think that would change everything drastically. So
do you think you're gonna I just had this random, like when you brought it up, random thought in my head. It was like, do you think you're going to get a little bit of heat in the beginning? Like jumping from men's physique to classic?
I think people are definitely, there's going to be a lot of negative things in the fact that like, oh man, his legs are way too small. He's not going to be ready. And then there's going to be a lot of people who are like, all right, well, this is the right move. You know, he looks like he should be in classics. Because every time I post anything,
a lot of people
it's a big difference. You know, there's just like how I do in men's physique. There's some people that love my physique, some people that hate it. It's just the way it is. It's social media. So
it's true.
Like you said, that's why I'm not setting those expectations up really high. You know, I'm not going to go out there and be like, oh, I'm going to go win my first show and I'm going to get to the Olympia and I'm going to, you know, go stand next to Chris Bumstead. Like, no, my goal is to get up on stage and people will be like, okay, he doesn't look bad. You know, he looks pretty good. And with a couple more years of work, maybe he could be something, you know, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are curious if like a lot of men's physique competitors will ever make the move to classic, but can you like tell us what like your leg day routine is right now and like what
leg day routine? I wouldn't say I necessarily have like a set list of movements I'm doing. Yeah, you can just let it go. But my thing, the way I train is I know what body part I'm training. I just go into the gym and figure out what I want to do from there, as long as I keep the intensity high. The only thing with my legs is, and what I realized, because if you follow my Instagram, I've been dealing with knee issues for a long time, and I didn't realize what could have been causing that. It was like 3 weeks ago. I was looking in the mirror, and I realized that I had such severe ankle pronation from flat feet. So like my ankles were like caving in, and I was like
pretty
holy crap.
bad.
Yeah,
you can actually see it like when he walks.
Yeah. And I never realized that, how bad it was. I got some inserts, some very stiff inserts, and they keep my arch nice and high. They keep my ankles nice and straight. And the last few leg days I've done, I've been able to do them without any pain, been able to push myself. So that got me really excited. That was one of the first things that got me thinking like, holy crap, maybe I could do this. So you know, one piece of the puzzle, you know, there's still some other things I gotta work on, like quad tightness and just getting that loose again. But getting that first issue from the ground up figured out, got me really excited. So again, no set routine. It's just I do what I can and I push myself as hard as I can. Still trying to figure out if I can get back to doing hack squats. Hack squats is one of those things that just made my knee feel like it was about to tear. But now with these issues fixed, I'm excited to try it again and see if that's not a problem.
So no set split or anything like that?
I mean, I have a split, but no set exercise, I guess you could say. Like, you know, chest day comes, I'm going to go inside into the gym and just figure out what chest movements I want to do. And he said, I know what areas I need to improve on. Like for me, obviously it's just legs all around. So I'm going to hit everything from every angle. And then I'll have another day where I'll probably touch up my hamstrings just so they're not lagging. So, yeah.
My dad has been having like a knee issue, and it always bugs him when he does like squats. And our gym just got a pendulum squat, and he says that he feels no pain on that. So he's been putting that to work. And when I was a lot weaker, my legs used to cave in on every like leg thing I would do besides like leg extensions. But now that I've gotten stronger and put on more weight, I've really been able to fix that issue.
That's awesome. That's awesome, especially that you're getting all this, like, you know, you're figuring it out now. You're able to do that because that's just going to help you so much down the road, especially when you get into your 20s. You're gonna, I mean, training right at a young age, you'll probably end up, you know, you'll be closer to Chris Bumstead in a couple of years than I would be in a couple of years. You know,
it really matters.
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite leg exercise that you do?
What would be a favorite of mine? I don't know. I want to say
leg press.
No, not leg press. Probably one of my least favorites, but the ones I can
But the ones, the ones that do
just because it's the least amount of knee pain. But I think probably just single leg hamstring curls. Honestly, are probably my favorite. I don't know why. I just like the feel, the mind muscle feel to me. It's always there. When I try to do like the way I train is all about feel. The muscle, the mind muscle connection, all that. So like when I'm trying to do like quad focused exercises, you never really feel them as much as you do like hamstring focus exercises. I feel, because in some sort of way your hamstrings are always going to come into play.
Yeah.
So I don't know. To me, like quad focus exercises, unless it's a leg extension.
Have you tried sissy squats?
I
Does that hurt your knee?
Sissy squats. I do like sissy squats. But I can start doing them again.
Our gym is like 2 flights of stairs up, and our elevator's broken. So after a leg day,
broken. It's a fake elevator. They lied to you.
Yeah. And Terrence has me on this crazy leg day. I have to do a superset of like 20 reps on the leg press, going heavy, and then I have to go right into dumbbell stiff leg.
Oh yeah.
And oh my god, it's death. And then I try to walk down those stairs after. I almost fell down the stairs the other day because my legs, I could not feel my legs.
Yeah.
I almost fell down the stairs.
Oh man, I think the worst for me is.
Yeah, I'm good now.
Okay. I think the worst for me was like the last leg day I did. I was feeling great. Like I said, I'm so excited about my knee. I might push a little too hard, but I spent the whole day just, having to constantly go to the ground because my legs kept cramping. So I spent probably about half the day just on the floor.
He was literally crawling around our house.
Yeah.
What?
He was like, I can't. Like everything was cramping. Like. All at the same time, and he would just drop to the floor.
Yeah,
that sounds like my dad after jiu-jitsu class.
It was awesome. I loved it. I love knowing that I pushed myself that hard. But yeah.
Now, I wanted to take a step away from this, and I wanted to talk about your time in the military. Do you mind like telling us what exactly you did?
So I was a human intelligence collector. 35 Mike is what it was called. And I was part of what was called an MFT, or multi-function team. So our job was to kind of do a lot of on-site searches, on-site interrogations. I was attached to special forces when I was deployed, so we got to do a lot more fun stuff. And so I got to take part in some pretty big operations. But yeah, it was pretty cool. So, I mean, I guess essentially you go into your area, your area of what you're trying to do, I guess, your mission. You try to find pieces of intel, collect as much information as possible, anything that could lead you to finding out more about the enemy or whatever you're doing. I can't talk too much.
Not too much detail.
Yeah, I can't go too into detail about stuff. But I had a lot of fun. It was definitely very interesting. Like I say, especially when you're attached to like a special operations group. A lot of that, top secret stuff. It's interesting. I had a lot of opportunities when I got out of the military to stay working in the government.
How many years?
I was in for 5. So it wasn't anything too crazy. So I did, I think my first year and a half or so was, spent in Washington State. And then I deployed to Iraq for a year and then came back for another 2 years before I got out. Let's see. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting time. I learned a lot. I learned how to grow up really quick. And it was I was 20, turned 21 in Iraq. And, at that point, they said, you're not growing up there overseas. There's kind of something wrong with your mentality, I guess you could say, because, you got a lot of people counting on you and you're counting on a lot of people to kind of make sure you stay alive. So,
yeah, I read in a website that your grandfather was in the war, or not in the war, in the military.
Yeah.
Was he like your inspiration to join the military?
So my grandfather was, and my dad was also. So my dad was actually he was a Green Beret. He was special forces. So my dad was my he's a huge role model. I try to do everything that kind of he does or live to his standards. I feel like he's just done everything right, the way things should be done. He's always been an honest man, a very hardworking man. He's worked for everything that he has. So, he was just he's always been my inspiration, and, kind of following his footsteps, kind of living off of the way he's viewed things. So, like you said, that whole wanting to serve my country or community and things of that sort, I think that kind of comes from him and the way he's lived his life. So after when I told my parents I wanted to join the military, my dad was actually kind of against it. Wasn't really for it, and that's why I ended up going the intel route, because he would have preferred I went to the Air Force or kind of did something outside of infantry. But I did go the intel route and still ended up doing a lot of the fun stuff. Like when I was deployed, I had 180, I can't remember, 180 something missions outside of the wire. So I did quite a few out of the wire missions. Had my fair share. So, I mean, you figure that's half of your time overseas is spent outside the wire and going on missions. You learned a lot.
So far, we've talked with Chiron and Terrence, who have been in the military, and Terrence was in the Air Force, and he would have to hack into the enemy's missiles or whatever that was attacking, and he would disarm them, and they would go flying off somewhere else.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And when we talked with both of them, they gave us some funny stories. Chiron said that they would be drinking, and then one time they got into a car crash because they were just all drunk and hammered, and Terrence or Chiron would never go out into the water, so he took the job where he would stay on land and work for the Navy.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, the military, I think, is one of those things, and it's you'll never ever take for granted. It was such an amazing time in my life, such an amazing experience, and the people that you meet and the people that you associate yourselves with, you'll never forget. Yeah, especially overseas. A lot of people, have a lot of negative stipulations that kind of go with serving. A lot of people are like, oh, well, it's war, it's ugly, it's not pretty. But at the same time, there's so many people that are grateful for what you do, and they realize how much you're actually there to help. So it goes both ways. But a lot of fun times, a lot of crazy memories.
Do you have a funny moment?
I mean, there's a lot of stories.
I wish I had a picture to show you.
What?
I want to know.
Oh, with Lily?
Oh my gosh! I mean, when I was in the military, I was that was the party phase too. I was and anybody.
But that's a common thing for everybody. They say, "Oh, that was my party phase."
I think they need it. They need that relief, that break, because what they do is so heavy and serious.
Oh no, I was just
it's just.
I was just younger. I was the kind of guy where I'd go to the clubs and get shirtless and dance my ass off. Nobody would think that about me now.
Was that skinny Jeremy, or was that?
That was like me getting back from Iraq, thinking I was big, even though I was still skinny.
Got it.
So I was I thought I was hot shit, but I wasn't hot shit. No, that was that Jeremy. So I'd go to the clubs, have a good time. Everybody always called me pretty boy. I just kind of a little different.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how this popped into my head. Maybe it was when we were talking about being overseas. But I want to take it the Joe Rogan route real quick. I know that he's all about the aliens and everything. What are your thoughts on that? Because I know that there was a recent thing that people are saying where there was this spacecraft that was 50,000 feet above, and then less than I think it was faster than the speed of light. They said that it was just a foot above water in just that amount of time.
I mean, as far as aliens, I definitely believe. I do for sure. I feel like it's such a big universe. I feel like it's impossible not to think that there's other life forms out. Will we ever see it? That I don't know. You just kind of have to wait and see what happens, I guess you could say. I know there have been a lot of documents that are getting declassified and stuff like that. I think it's all very interesting stuff to see. But yeah, I guess just kind of, I feel like the world, if anything was to come out, the world would not be ready.
Yeah, I don't know how civilians would handle all that.
I'll be ready. I've been ready. I'm ready for the aliens. I'm ready for the zombie apocalypse. I've just been ready for it.
I feel like, if people like found out that like, oh, they're aliens, there's a possibility that could be invasion. Like that would just freak the heck out of people, and that turn the whole world upside down.
That's true. Last year, think about all the people who took toilet paper. So you make
what I'm saying,
I know. Isn't it terrifying? Like, what would people do with real, solid, heavy information?
That's martial law or something, Like, it would literally just...
all of the smart people would just hide.
Yeah.
Like, our gym is about, like, a 40-minute drive away, and we do, like, the late-night sessions every time we go. So by the time, like, I'm done with my workout and we're driving back, I am just like so wiped out. I have these like crazy thoughts, and we drive like through huge farmland. So every time we're driving through, I'm like, what if like a unknown spacecraft just landed right there? And I'm like, what happened?
Signs, the movie Signs.
Yeah.
Like when I watch that movie now, it's not even that scary, but I just remember at the time when it came out, everybody was so freaked out.
There's still some parts in that movie, like when the alien, that footage where he pops out in the birthday party.
But think about that. That's not really that scary.
It's not scary, but it's
the
like
one where he was in the pantry and he like slides a knife under to try and see it.
It's not scary, but it's just like, dang, like what if that happened?
It's true.
How crazy that'd be. I think that's what like freaks people out. It's like, what if that happened one day?
We just got past COVID. I can't be thinking about that.
Honestly, I'm right there with you. I'm just like, let's get back to some.
I need
warm.
But yeah.
I wanted to go back to what we were talking about earlier. Did your grandfather or your father like ever tell you any stories about being in the military?
No. So
I want to know so bad.
Yeah, my father, like I said, he was special operations. He did a lot of really awesome stuff. But he's never been one to talk about things. Just like me, I don't talk about a lot of what I did overseas. But I remember there was this one time where we both got back from our deployment, and we were both deployed at the same time. So he was in Afghanistan and I was in Iraq. My mom and my sisters were
here dying.
Yeah. They hated it. But I remember we went to his National Guard unit at the time, and they started talking about these stories, and my mom's sitting there like, they're like, oh, you remember when such and such got shot? And my mom's just like freaking out, and they're talking about the gunfights and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, this is the kind of stuff that happens. Yeah.
My dad said that my great grandfather was in the war, and he said that on World War II, and he never talked about anything that happened. Just because of how traumatic it was. I never met him, but that's just what he said.
Yeah.
My dad also said that he had like shrapnel all over him.
Yeah. It's not one of those things that you go out and you parade about. Because like I said, it just kind of depends on how that person takes things mentally. Because it could be a lot. I remember one of the first things when I realized that, this stuff gets pretty serious. When you're like face to face, or you're sitting in the same room with people that just kill other people, and it's kind of, it's a lot. It's hard to want to talk about. It really.
He doesn't even talk to me about any of it.
No.
He's told me like one story, literally one, and that was it.
So it's just you don't, unless you didn't really do much overseas. I guess you don't really. There's not much to talk about or that you want to share. It's not usually pleasant. The stories that people are usually wanting to hear, they're not really pleasant stories. So,
well, let's switch it up. So I do want to know from both of you guys, let's kind of keep it briefly want to ask, what do you guys do outside of the whole competing? Like, what kind of hobbies do you do? What do you do that people don't see on social media?
I think the biggest thing for us is family.
Yeah, we do. We make a really big point. I mean, like my family is still in Texas. That's where I'm from. And he's got a sister in North Carolina. But we for as far apart as all of us are, like his parents are in Maine, we really all make it a point to spend time together. Yeah, and it doesn't matter. Like his parents will drive down here from Maine and, spend weeks around all of us, and we'll go to Texas and spend weeks. And so we do a lot of that. We do a lot of outdoor stuff. We like hiking outdoors, going to see waterfalls, stuff like that.
movies, Netflixing it out.
Yeah, and it's just like just chilling at home. We're such like homebodies. We're willing to like, we are social and we do go and do things, but we both like to like come here and recharge.
Yeah.
After stuff like that, you know, it's like a once in a while thing, not like a every weekend type of thing.
Yeah. Everything for us kind of revolves around our dogs and what we can do with our dogs.
Yeah, everywhere we go, out of state, or even like when we go to his sisters in North Carolina, it revolves around them. I mean, we bring them everywhere with us.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't trust these doggy daycares.
Yeah, we like I said backstage, we had a golden retriever, and when she passed, I wanted another dog, but my mom and dad were like, no, you can't get one because we won't be able to do anything. So we got a cat, and I bought a laser toy yesterday, and I wanted to see what the cat would do. So our cat is terrified of it.
What?
It would run away. So I pointed the laser at it or on the ground near it and just started like growling and like getting really mad. And so
that's not a normal reaction. Like I think a cat would go crazy usually.
No, he scared the cat. He made the cat afraid.
Yeah.
What'd you do, Will?
No, you know what? Whenever I lived alone with our beagle Brixton, I made him afraid of shadows that way. I thought it was funny at the time, and like he's afraid of them now. He's terrified of shadows. Like if you do that? I don't know. At the time, I thought it was funny, right? Because I was like, "Oh, it's okay. Like I'm here," but like it literally, like he's afraid of them. Evil. I did that, and I feel so bad about it.
Like a shadow on the ground, you do like it freaks out.
Literally, y'all.
Yeah, how did you scare him?
So I turn all the lights off. And I have like the TV on or something, but I have my phone flashlight and I do this like a wolf, and I'd be like, like so loud. And he was just a puppy, so I think it really affected him. It's terrible.
Our cat will just stare at its shadow for like hours on end and just sit there and just stare at its shadow. It'll like move its head and see it moving. It'll come back and it'll like lift up its arm.
See, that's normal. I totally scarred him, but it's okay. He has a good home with us. I'm a good mom. I swear.
You're like, other than that, I treat my dog amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Going back to the family thing, like your outside family, like your cousins and aunts and that sort of thing. What do they think of what you're doing and like how big you are?
You know, so I haven't met, or it's been years since I met half my family. So my mom's Filipino and that's where she's from. So all my family in the Philippines, I haven't really met. I've gone there once when I was 3. So I couldn't really tell you, you know, what they think. As far as my family, my dad's side of the family, they're all in Maine. But they're all very supportive. You know, they think it's awesome. Like when I landed the cover of Muscle and Fitness, they thought it was so cool. Yeah, they all ran out their copies and everything like that. So, I mean, everybody's been extremely supportive, but I think it's a completely different topic. But the one thing I always felt insecure about was how do I explain what I do to like Courtney's parents when I was first going to meet them. I was like, how do I tell them that like, oh, I make money through social media or like professional bodybuilding? There's always an awkward thing, but you know, they all thought it was pretty cool too, and they're all very accepting of it and everything like that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really understand what I do because a lot of people at my school already have jobs. They're like, "Well, what do you do?" And I'm like, "I lift weights and I do YouTube." Yeah. So I do what I like.
What you do is a lot cooler.
The thing about this is that there is no earning cap. So that is the best part about all of it. Is like your earning cap is kind of whatever you want it to be. When you stop working or when you decide you don't want to work towards more.
Yeah, and the thing that sucks is like they're always like talking about how much money they're making and that sort of thing. And they're like, "Well, how much do you make?" Well, I'm like, you know, some days it could be like $10, and then the other day it could be like $50. You know, it all depends. And like, oh, that sucks. And I'm like, yeah, but just wait.
But you're building.
Yeah, just wait.
Because in a few years, they're going to still be making the same amount and you won't be.
Yeah, because like I said, when I think about how much I made with my first sponsor, so like when I first went pro, there was a company that was sending me stuff for free, like free supplements. And when I first went pro, they're like, hey, we'd like to, bring you on like full time legitimately. And they're like, pay you $300 a month plus supplements. I was like, shoot, that's a car payment right there. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. And they're like, you start at free supplements to $300 a month to next thing you know, you're making $500 a month to $1,000 a month. And it just going up. And like I said, your cap is literally when you decide to stop putting forth.
Yeah, I can't wait till the day I get free protein.
It was a beautiful moment when they're like, hey, we'd like to send you some stuff. I was like,
yes.
Whoa. Like,
that's half my money right there that I spent.
Yeah, like on Instagram, I'll get the spam messages and I'll be they want to sponsor you. And the first time I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I'm getting sponsored and I'm going to get sent everything. And I realized that they have 0 followers and it was a spam. And I was like,
even I get that stuff. We'd love to collaborate, and it's like a totally fake company.
But let me send you some free jewelry or leggings. I'm like, you have 0 pictures.
No, what am I dumb?
But to add to that too, is a lot of people wait for these companies to approach, and I always want to tell people like, don't be afraid to ask either. Like there's nothing wrong with asking. Like
good old fashioned persistence.
Yeah, showing a company that you're interested in what they have to offer in their product, and that's a good way to start a relationship and all of that. So definitely think asking goes a long way.
That's honestly the best, like some really good advice, because people do ask like, oh, how do you get a sponsorship? And people think magically that it's just going to happen, but you do kind of have to like start using the product, talking about it, show an interest in it, and like get that company to see you to even consider you.
You have to give them like a little taste, like what can you do for us? Because there's so many thousands and millions of people on Instagram all trying to do the same thing. Like they're not going to sit there and nitpick through millions of people and like find you and message you.
Yep.
Yeah. What's the whole experience with HD Muscle been like?
So far, it's been amazing. I think what makes it so good is like the people behind it, because it's a family that started it basically. A couple brothers and their sister. They're all working to make the company what it is, and you could really see like their passion for what they're doing through it all. Getting to know Dorian, Noah, and Mariah has just been pretty awesome.
They're all just like the best people.
Yeah, they're just genuinely good people.
Yes.
Like I said, their whole thing has been to granted their stuff is a little bit more premium, so it's a little bit more pricey. Yeah. But there's a reason, they're not going to skimp out on quality. You got to think of, if I wanted to create something, how would I do it? And that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, how could I not back something like that?
They put all their stuff through like extra processes to make it a better product on the shelf. Yeah. Like actually put into your body and process through your body. So they think about a lot more than just like, let me make a good tasting protein.
Yeah, or make a quick buck. Like you said, to them, it's not about. Like I said, obviously, if your intention is to be a more premium company, your first thought is not how am I going to make the most money. I guess you could say quality comes first, because it's easier to make money when you have a cheaper product out there. So that's why I said, like, when I first got with them, it was because I was genuinely interested in what they were putting out, and I reached out. Like, I was just like, I kind of like what they're doing. I like the direction they're going in. I know who Dorian is. I know who Noah is. If they're putting out something, and they stand behind it, like, I'm all for giving it a shot.
Yeah.
So. I saw you like one of your recent like Instagram posts, and it's like you using one of the supplements, and it's like before and after, and it's so crazy.
Well, people did not think that was the same day. That was 1,000% the same day. He did something.
Or story.
It was a post. So it's like wearing a maroon dark sport shirt. But I remember I liked what I was wearing, so I asked Courtney to take a picture of me. And I saw the picture. I was like, God, I look horrible. I was like, I'm not going to post that. And then I went to the gym and started training, and at
the gym, he liked how he looked, and then later he was like, "Oh my God, babe, look, this was before we left, and this was the picture we took after."
Yeah, and they
said this one right here.
Yep. People are like, oh, well, your beard is different. I'm just like,
people are like, the lighting, your tan is different.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all, we do not think about stuff that much. So
the lighting is different. I'm in my house in one, and I'm at the gym in another.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm really not gonna try that hard just to prove make me.
Yeah. So what I actually just posted a video today where it was me before the gym, and I was like, all right, now here's me after my workout. I ate the same thing. I ate my normal meals. I don't take any like pre-workout PEDs or anything like that. Like for me, it's just my pre-workout and my food.
Yeah.
So,
people are crazy though. They do. Yeah. They think he sits there and like.
But it's social media.
It
it's social media. That's what people do on
social
media. So you can't expect anything less, I guess.
Yeah.
With videos with like John Meadows, you see like they'll do like measurements before a workout, and then like after a workout, you see like an inch or two increase.
Yeah,
and it's just crazy that can happen.
I mean, that's
legitimate. In my own eyes.
It's the people to me who are commenting like, "Oh, that's fake." I'm just like, "Well, have you gotten a pump before?" For one, like, because I mean, Sam. I mean, like both of y'all know, like the pump is literally completely changes you.
Yeah.
Right now, I look non-existent when I work out. It's people are like, "Oh, you still have muscle?" I was like, "Yeah."
It's like those like funny posts you see on Instagram where it's like before you go to the gym and you're like skinny, and then it's like when you get your pump and you're huge, and then it's like after and you're just skinny again.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how I feel. I think that's how everybody feels who goes to the gym.
No one ever takes a photo for Instagram before their workout.
Yeah.
I've attempted and I was like, oh, delete.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what that first picture was. That first picture was like, I like what I'm wearing. Like, let me post that to IG.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God.
When I handed him his phone, he was like, that's a terrible picture.
Yeah.
I look so bad.
I was like, I look skinny. How am I going to post that? So.
Hey, but it worked.
Yeah. I mean, HD loved it.
Yeah.
They were like, oh my God.
Real advertisement.
Yeah.
I know that you're not going to be in like men's physique anymore, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on the Arnold Classic, them only having 4 limited categories. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think I don't want to say it's like disrespect any of the categories, because like I said, like 212 is a huge category. It's not being held there. I feel like I believe it's just open, bikini, classic and
fitness, I think.
Fitness. Yeah. So I mean, there's like a lot of big divisions that aren't getting put in there.
Yeah.
And I feel like, obviously there's probably a limit to what they can do. So I get that. I don't really have anything negative to say towards it, because at that point you're just kind of guessing as to why.
Yeah.
So that you don't really know the reason as to why they have those divisions and not other divisions. So I do think, obviously men's physique does get a lot of negative attention, and I understand it. I think it's crappy.
Yeah.
But, I do get it. It's just, not everybody works out or wants to compete to be.
Wants the same look.
Yeah. So, everybody's got their own goals. Let people enjoy their goals. I'll never knock anybody for what their goal is. If I see a big person or a skinny person in the gym trying to do something, they're in the gym doing the same thing I'm doing. That's to better themselves.
Yeah.
So that's the way I always view it. So I think I just can't stand it when everybody's like, oh, well, look at this person like in men's physique, like he doesn't have any legs or whatever the heck. I'm just like, well, he's doing what he wants to do. He doesn't want to have legs. That's his business.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Why do you care so much? Are you out there doing it? Like,
yeah, I feel like unless you're on equivalent plane with these guys, like a lot of the comments are just like total waste of people's time.
Yeah. But, that's the world.
Social media.
Social media it's not going to go away. If you're going to put yourself out there and you're going to be a competitor or whatever, if you're putting yourself out there on social media, you got to be ready for everything. You got to be ready for positive and negative. Because I remember the first time I got negative attention, that was a lot. That was a lot to deal with. I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, that like I've gotten like comments on some of the YouTube videos of like the harsher things and negative things. And
Some trolls.
at first it took me some time to like handle it, but now I'm like, you really had to say that, and like I don't really try and let it bother me.
Well, you got to think. Well, the best way of looking at it is like, think of people who are succeeding and living good lives. Like they don't have time to go and be negative towards other people.
Yeah,
they don't like good people don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just people that are unhappy, insecure, and all that.
Projecting.
They're projecting themselves, and that's what helped me get over it. Like I remember, the first picture I ever posted that went viral. Like the first half of like 1,000 comments were like good, but the second half, like I guess when it made the explore page or something, was nothing but negativity. I remember being up all night looking through them and just being like, dang, man, like people are harsh.
Yeah.
It beat on me for a while. And, you know, the sooner I was able to realize that, you know, it's not good people or successful people that are doing this. It's just people who have nothing better to do with their lives.
It's true.
It kind of
takes a strong person to open up to the world and have like Instagram or YouTube be their platform. Basically, you're throwing yourself out there and hoping that the world is going to accept you. And a lot of time they don't.
It's true.
This is so ugly. Like I could never do what he does. I couldn't.
Well, there's people that live in those comments too that are seeking something just to write negative, like, and that's why
they just want to rise. Like they just want a reply.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh my God, I love you," and it's like, you would
That's
really
true.
like be that ugly just to get a reply, like.
You know, those people who will harass you or comment negative stuff, you block them, they come back with another profile, you know, it's the same person.
Yep.
And I'm like, how do you have time in your day to do this?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's making you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But
So I do want to know, because like, I mean, each person has their own, but like getting into this sport, who did you look up to and who do you look up to now, if you do?
getting into it was Branch Warren.
Nice.
I love Branch Warren's mentality. I love work ethic. Kind of reminded me a little bit of my dad. But my dad was another person who got me into it as well, because he was I got my genetics from him mostly. He did powerlifting. He was a big bodybuilding fan. He was a huge fan of Samir. So it's actually awesome now, because like I'm a friend of Samir's, and you know I've been able to like record a few videos of Samir saying like hello to my dad and stuff like that. But my dad and Branch Warren were huge motivations. They're still huge motivations. In terms of like now, I want to say it's more along the lines of somebody like Terrence. I love Terrence. I'm a huge fan of his. Lee Labrada. I see Lee Labrada's physique now, and I'm just like, that's something I would love to try to replicate. But yeah, it's just I kind of find motivation everywhere. Really, I see something I like, and I'm just like, damn, that's pretty. It's nice. Pay attention to it.
My dad and I were joking with Samir the other day because we saw a video of him trying to do a skateboard trick, and he broke his board. So my dad went to the skateboard park the other day, and he was like, I'm nervous to do any tricks because I saw Samir break his board trying to do something. But like he'll start like liking my stuff and that sort of thing, and I think he's a really cool guy.
No, Samir's awesome. The first time I actually got to meet him, I think I was actually with Courtney. We went to a show in California. Remember that? Yeah,
and he came up to us. Like Jeremy had seen him, but he didn't say anything. And we sat down, and he came up and he told Jeremy, like, "Oh man, I'm a huge fan of yours." Like, yes. And for him, he was like, "Did that just happen?"
Like, dang. It's happened to me 2 times where I've been like, holy crap. The first time was meeting Flex Lewis. Or no, that was the second time. So the first time was Samir when he did that.
Yeah.
Telling me that he was a fan of my physique and my structure and everything like that. And then the second time was at the 2017 Olympia after the press conference. Flex Lewis went to the bathroom, and Flex Lewis came in after me and introduced himself and said he was a fan of mine too. And I was like, holy crap. That's awesome. But
Samir had such a perfect beard. It was like literally perfect, and then he shaved it off, and I was like, no. I was so mad. It was literally perfect.
That's funny, the perfect beard.
But do you want to get to some fan questions that we got?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Let's start.
Okay.
You want to start?
I'm a fan. When are you guys getting married?
2
2
weeks.
weeks.
What?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
June 21st.
Love that. Congrats.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well,
We're so excited. I cannot believe, like, you're going to be my husband.
No.
You know that Sam's a wedding planner, right?
I didn't know.
Yes,
Yeah,
I am.
When? Hold the phone.
So my mom's a wedding planner. Well, she's a wedding coordinator. And so when I moved back to California, I work with her. And so that's why you see me posting a lot of weddings because that's what I do on my weekends.
Yes. Oh my God. I had no idea.
Yeah, so I've been helping her with that. We do all the coordinating and planning, setting up, making sure it looks good. And so that's basically my life on the weekends.
Oh my
that's
gosh.
awesome.
That's awesome. You know what? That is meticulous work.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you. I'm so glad that we started the whole like planning process like a year and a half in advance.
Yeah.
Because I got to do everything really slow and kind of at my own pace.
Mm-hmm.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 weeks. We're getting married in Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Where in Montana?
So we'll be, because I know you go up to like Kalispell
Yes.
often, but we're getting married in Big Sky, so like Gallatin Gateway.
Got it.
That's how you say it.
Yeah.
But we're planning on going up to Glacier around that area while we're up there too.
You have to.
You're not going to do it.
I wanted us to actually get married in Glacier, but you need like permits and permission and paying fees. And so I was
Yeah.
Yeah, they're strict on photos and even things like that there.
yeah, I was like, no, that's okay. So we found a cute little venue and yeah, getting close.
You're not going to do it on Dana Lynn Bailey's ranch in Montana?
Yeah, no, that would have been pretty. But
Yeah, awesome thing. Montana is one of my favorite places. I can't say that because like I'm from the desert and I don't like cold, but I will tolerate it for Montana.
See, and like neither of us have ever been there. And when he proposed, I was kind of like, you know, what better reason for us to go to this place that I've always wanted to go, he's always wanted to go, and it's so beautiful, you know, from what we hear.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, let's do it.
because we actually thought about possibly moving up there.
We did.
You know, it was just like, are we really ready for those winters? I think that was the only thing holding us back.
Yeah.
So.
The winners are no joke, that's for sure.
You should come to Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all that.
I'll pass.
Yeah.
The bipolar weather I just experienced 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago? 3.
I think so. Yeah, we met Sam for the first time 2 weeks ago.
I went to Connecticut.
Yeah. How is your waist this small, and what is your waist size?
Genetics. So my waist stays small through genetics and building up top. So trying to create the width, working on my delts, my carries muscle group to help push everything out. So maintain that fullness up top, and you know, avoiding those. Not avoiding. So if you're going to do exercises that help build your core strength, like deadlifts, squats, things of that sort, wear a belt to help disengage those muscles. Still get that support.
He does not wear a waist trainer.
Yeah, I don't wear a waist trainer.
Does not ever for any reason.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was even going to ask, like, even for myself, I won't do certain movements just to help keep my waist small, or I won't do certain things heavy. And I was wondering, do you do the same?
Well, no, I don't. I don't avoid anything. The only reason I avoid something is because, like, let's say I have a pretty crappy lower back, so I'll avoid exercise because of that. But it won't be for the reasons of trying to keep my waist small.
Got it.
And as far as the size, it gets down. I think the smallest it's been was about 26 and a half, somewhere around there.
Yeah. I measured that. Like, that is for sure.
So it's usually around 27 on stage.
Yeah. That one, in that time, it was 52 around the shoulders and 26 around his waist.
26 on stage.
Yeah.
That wasn't on stage. That was like a week before stage.
Oh, yeah, it was a little bit before stage.
So it's probably like even smaller.
I don't think too much smaller. But I would say 26 and a half.
Like this.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Well, it's like, I feel like yes, is my waist small? Yeah, but it's not what people think. I think, for my height, I'm the same width as somebody who's 30 pounds heavier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's where a lot of people get it mixed up. It's just my proportions are a little more
I
drastic.
mean, I feel like 26 is still really small for a grown man.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. It's still small. It's just not as small as people think.
You're just trying to downplay it. I get
But
it.
he just modest.
Now, what are 3 podcasts you listen to?
Love Joe Rogan's.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. There was another one I was listening to. I like Fuad's. And
y'all.
that was the last one I listened to. Lewis. I want to say it was Lewis.
Let me just go ahead and plug that.
I know.
Yeah.
Lewis House.
Did you listen to the latest Joe Rogan with David Lee Roth?
I did not. No.
Oh, it is crazy. That guy's laugh. Oh my god, it's kind of scary. Honestly.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's funny how people sound on podcasts.
Well, you would think. I mean, David Lee Roth probably is going to have an interesting laugh.
Like, he showed off his tattoos, and he's literally covered with tattoos, like below his neck to his waist.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all the hand one with like the hammer and the needle.
Oh, stick and poke.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called.
I think that'd be kind of cool to experience one day. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd ever do it. So I'm trying to get rid of the 2 stupid tattoos I have now.
Yeah.
I would want to just try it for the experience. I know I've heard it's more painful than a traditional, like a gun.
More painful for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably want to do a big piece, but I definitely want the experience of saying, "Oh, I have one."
For sure.
Yeah.
Just to do, just for the experience. That's the only reason I do it too.
Mm-hmm.
This actually is not really a question, but it says, "Can you dress up as Superman on Halloween to see how many people think you're the real Superman?"
Filipino Clark Kent.
Now, when I put on my
He puts glasses on. Filipino Clark Kent.
And I get my comb over right.
Yes.
Yeah. Get the one strand down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I could definitely do that. Maybe I'll do that for the next one. Filipino Clark Kent.
All right, I'll find a real.
I know. I'm trying to look too.
What is some advice you can give for back training?
I want to say lat pull downs are not as important for width as a lot of people think. I think that's one of the biggest things. I think a lot of people want to say that, the more lat pull downs you do, the wider your lats are going to get. Is that true to some sort of sigma? Yes. But I feel like really what's going to help push your lats out even further, create that width, is working on your teres muscle group. That's going to help push everything out. So there's that, row for density, pull downs for, I guess your width technically. Say. Don't be afraid to use machines. People do. A lot of people are all about free weights.
Row your life away.
Yeah. I think those are the best things, man. Is all training's the same. As long as you're putting the intensity in, you're going to get the results.
Okay.
Nice.
I have another fan question. So how did you use your platform of competing to build your name?
That was really everything. Competing and bringing this unique look to the stage is kind of what made me, I guess you could say, or made me on social media. So the crazier I looked on social media and on competitions is what allowed me to really kind of skyrocket and kind of get noticed by people.
Yeah.
So, the crazier I looked, the more people would pay attention and more people would talk, and it just kind of helped me, blow up. It all starts with one picture. That's all it took. It's like one picture before people were, and it just so happened that when I started getting popular on social media was when all that Photoshop stuff was coming out. So with everybody photoshopping their stuff, it started people talking about me and how I don't need a Photoshop. So that really helped, I guess.
Yeah. How long did it take you to get to this point physique wise, and what's your favorite body part to train?
I want to say I started training for competing in 2012. So 2012 was when I started. And what was the other part of the question?
What's your favorite thing to train?
Chest.
Yeah.
Chest is definitely my favorite just because I just love the pump and my muscle I get from it. Legs is right up there because that's what I'm most obsessed with progressing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sam, you want to do one more?
One more, yes. So, you have so many. Oh yeah, advice for a young competitor: can you turn pro without PEDs?
Absolutely. It's getting a little bit harder now. I feel like everybody is just hopping on that bandwagon really quick and really early. But yeah, I definitely think it's possible. You know, it comes down to genetics and the work you're willing to put in.
Yeah,
there's just a lot of guys who have those freaky genetics that you would never believe were natural, but are. So true. It's definitely possible. I mean, I went pro natural. I know several other guys that did go pro. I believe Keon went pro natural and was pro up until 2019, or natural up until 2019. When you look at somebody like that, that's a true testament of what genetics really, how much they play a part. So
the last question I have for the both of you that I like to ask all my guests that I talk with, and it's for people like me who aren't the most popular in school, and it's for people that are kind of stuck in life right now, and it's for people that want to go out and chase their goal, but they aren't sure how to get started. So what's one piece of advice that you can give all these people watching to go out and chase their dreams?
I think for me, the biggest thing is stop paying attention to what other people are saying and take things day by day. You know,
and I think, like, in addition to what he said, is like there are probably going to be times when you feel really alone and you feel like no one else understands you, or you feel like no one else is on the same path and you're different from your friends and it makes it hard to hang out. But just keep to your path, because ultimately, like, the person you grow into and your dreams that you're trying to follow, no one else should understand. Like, if your dreams are that big and your friends are that different, then the people that are going to support you are going to stay around. But ultimately, you have to make yourself happy. You have to be proud of yourself at the end of every day. Wake up feeling good about yourself every day, because if you start serving the people around you more than yourself, you can get lost. And then it's just a dead end internally.
You're just doing things to please others at that point.
Yeah.
You know, you got to do it for you, because it's like you lose sight of why you're doing something, or you start doing it for other reasons or to make other people happy. You're going to find yourself very miserable or unhappy really quick, because I've gone through it. You know, a huge part of what I do is for other people. And that's when I found myself hating it the most, is when I was doing it for others and not myself. So, you know, when you stay focused and you start doing things with a purpose, you know, figure out your purpose and start doing everything for that purpose. And that should drive you. You know, that should keep you on the path that you want to be on, the path that you want to stay on, and the path to your goals and your dreams at the end of the day.
And I think you'll find too, like, the stronger you are on your path and the more you stick to yourself and stay true to who you really are and what really makes you happy, the people that you accumulate and the support and the people that you draw to yourself through that, and at the end of that, I think people will look back at those moments when maybe they did feel alone or they felt like they weren't understood, and they'll think it was worth it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's a temporary thing, but if you really stick to it, I think you reach something so beautiful in the end.
Awesome. I love asking that question because I love trying to help people out, and I want to help out as many people as I can by asking these awesome people for help. And we reached the end of this week's podcast, and I want to say thank you so much to the both of you for doing this. I loved hearing your story, and I had a blast, and I hope you did too.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you guys for having us. It was an honor to be on this podcast. Can't wait to watch it. So hopefully, you know, those who do watch it will take something out of it. And Yeah. And thank you guys for this platform.
Yeah, so good to see you guys again, and thank you so much.
You too.
You too,
You're
Sam.
welcome.